Hey everyone, it's Trace Face. Sorry I'm looking like this tonight. I've had a week from hell, to say the very least. I know many of you know what's been going on, but I just keep taking the hits. um, Before I get started with all that, because I know that a lot of you emailed me or texting me or sending me videos to watch, were trying to help, and there's just so many of you, and I just needed to come on here tonight and share with all of you what's really what's been going on. Um, this video tonight, so if you're interested in this topic, just scroll on forward past all this stuff so that you can really listen to the topic for tonight, because this information I'm going to share with you about what's going on with me personally is going to take a few minutes here tonight. So, as those of you that have been following me and know, my cat Maisie went through major surgery last month, to the point where the vets and the surgeons, the doctors that cared for her, do not even understand how any of this could have even have happened for her. Her intestines basically folded on themselves, and it was a very tragic and traumatic experience for her. And me being who I am, I did a lot of research. That's what I do. I sit and research things, and I went and tried to think about their diet. Maybe I need to change their diet, even though their diet was great. And what I did was I switched to a different brand, and I'm not going to get into all this because everybody in the veterinary world has a different opinion. I have discovered this. And they all have told me something different. So I went ahead and did my own research. I talked to holistic doctors, holistic vets. I did everything a good cat mom would do, and I started to weed them on to different food. Well, fast forward 3 weeks later, my Miles here, that's Maverick yelling. He wants to play. My Miles here, who's, he's buried in the blankets. He likes to burrow himself in blankets. Started to show signs of distress in the litter box, jumping out of the litter box and licking himself, which those of you that are cat owners, you need to take that very seriously, because he could have a blockage, which means that it could be a matter of hours to a few days of which they live. It's very serious, and I've heard of this happening to people before, and I always put water in their moist food, their canned food at night. And to try and make this very, very long story as short as I possibly can, he had to, I took him into his vet. Between that vet and the vet I had to call the next day, had a different story of what they both thought was going on for Miles. They're not open on the weekends. I ended up having to take Miles to the emergency. He did have a mucus block. It wasn't formed by a stone, but he did have crystals in his urine. I had found that out through his vet. And it was very scary. I was so beside myself, because you guys know that I told Ronnie this weekend that before I met you, this cat is the love of my life. So it's just been really, really hard, you guys. He went overnight. They gave him some medication to relax his urethra, and the doctor there does not believe it's because I changed their diet. She said that wouldn't have happened in a few weeks. She asked me if Miles has been under stress. And, well, come to think of it, I'm stuck upstairs with Maisie for 2 weeks straight, trying to help her recover, watching her box activity and everything going on for her, whether she's eating and all of that, when she came home. And he couldn't, we tried to bring him in the room, and he didn't like that. And he probably didn't understand why I was up there. So who knows what caused this? The bottom line is that it happened, and I took another major financial hit this weekend. All that to say, all that aside, the only thing I care about is that he's going to be okay. So I've been vigorously watching him, making sure he doesn't block again. It was very scary. And guys that have animals, listen to me right now. You need to hear me. These vets right now are overwhelmed because so many people took in animals during the pandemic. A lot of them will not take you unless your animal is dying. I drove all the way from here to the emergency vet, which is the closest one to me, which is about a 45-minute drive to Rhode Island, Ocean State Veterinary. They looked at him. They didn't even look at him for 5 minutes. They said, oh, he peed in the car. He's fine. He's not blocked. That's the kind of care I got. That's the same place that did the surgery for my Maisie and let her be soiled to give her back to me. But it was the closest to me, and I wasn't going to wait on this because I watched him go in and out of his box and nothing was producing. He wasn't producing any urine. So I had no choice. When I came home, I called his vet, which opened at 8. They got him in another emergency, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from here. So I took him there, and they watched him overnight. So, guys, I've been beside myself. And before all this happened, you guys know I share the puppy, the Great Dane, with my dad. I have her for every day from about 6 in the morning till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon when my dad gets home from work. She had issues. And our dog trainer said she's been seeing this with a lot of dogs around here. She thinks it's the leaves that have mold. She had diarrhea. Then she wasn't drinking water. And we've been taking her back and forth to the vets. She's finally on the mend. So it's been one thing after another with my pets. And what I want to say tonight is that the devil 100% wants to keep us down. That's what he wants. Obviously, Maisie's feeling much better. He wants to keep us down. And that's what he's doing in our life all the time. And I realized this, I could have went into I was so out of it from being sleep deprived because now I'm watching him all the time. I'm watching him like a hawk because, we're their only advocates. This whole thing happened, I was supposed to go on this lunch date with an old acquaintance on Friday, and I couldn't do it with Daisy. I was watching her. It just so happened I canceled, and that's when I caught him going in his box and I saw it. So had I not seen it, you guys, I would have never known. So those of you that have pets, be very careful. It's the male cats. The male cats will get stones and crystals in their urine very quickly, and it could be stress related, it could be diet related. A lot of things can cause this, so you need to be really careful. And there's so much more I could share with you guys about that. Anyway, I know I'm going to get I'm going to get a lot of opinions in the comments about what to do, and I'm all about you guys sharing that information with you. But as I stated, there's so much controversy in the veterinary world about this food brand, that food brand, this food brand. Bottom line is, I have the male cats now on the CV food that's to break down. It's for urinary tract, and I'm keeping them on that. And my vet, who I trust, and she actually saved my dog 10 years ago in surgery. He ate a rock. He was a Doberman that we rescued, and he ate a rock, and she saved him. So I very much trust her. She advised me to do that. Anyway, I could go on and on about this, but I have been wicked beside myself, and I could have let this thing. Okay, I was in a downward state of like not sleeping, being very upset. I was not myself all weekend. I had nothing to say. I had nothing to talk about. I took the people I could this weekend, and that's all I could do. So I thank you for bearing with me through this whole ordeal, and thank you for those of you that did know what was happening, for your prayers. My pets are all I have, okay? And she's obviously she knows I'm on live. She's showing off. And you guys that have been following me for a long time, you know that. You know how much I love my pets. So this hurt me tremendously because Miles here, I love my ferals, but my Miles here, you guys, those of you that know, I have a very special connection to that cat. I'm going to get emotional. I'm sorry. he was the first pet I brought home when I finally left my ex-husband, who wouldn't allow us to get pets because he used to always say we weren't in a situation for pets, and he had every excuse in the book because he's just a selfish, rotten human being. And I wasn't able to have pets for almost a decade. So when I finally got Miles here, I'll just tell you the story real quick. I knew I wanted to get a cat, and my neighbor over here, her friend from high school had just had a litter, and so I went down and I looked at all the cats, and they had one in mind for me because I asked for a male cat. I like the male cats. I feel like they're just more friendly, but that's not always the case. But I've had cats since I was born, so I just have always felt like the male cats are just more goofy and friendly. And she said, well, I got this female cat here, and she's spotted, and she's beautiful, and come check her out. And because everyone else had been accounted for. So I went and I took a look, and I loved her, and she was cool, and she snuggled up to me, and I was excited when it reached the mark that I could come pick her up when she was ready to be taken away from the mother. And all of a sudden I get a phone call about a week later, and Darlene, who I got the cat from, she said, I got good news. It's not a female, it's a male. I said, oh my God, it is. And she says, yeah. And I don't know where I came up with the name Miles. The jerk I was still back and forth with at the time, and he said, call him Mr. Good Cat, and I laughed because I thought that was so funny, and so I called him Mr. Miles Good Cat. Oh my God, thank you so much, Yellow Rose, for your donation. You guys, thank you so much for caring so much about me in the last few months. You guys care about me more than some I really thought cared, and don't even so much as check in or see what the heck has been going on or care. And I just, those of you that have, and I want you to know, and even some of you I couldn't get back to because there's been so many I work with that cared. I just want to know, I want you to know how much I love you guys, and I know that you guys care beyond measures. Anyway, guys, I just want to finish telling you the story. When I took Miles home, thank you for allowing me to tell the stories of my cats, because I know this channel is about narcissism. All right. Thank you for your patience tonight. When I went to pick him up, it was pretty symbolic because I knew he was coming here to my grandmother's house, where this house is very symbolic to me. Thank you, Stunt Baby. Thank you so much for your donation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry guys, I haven't gotten any sleep, so I'm so emotional. And when I took him home, I will never forget this. He was this little, you know, and I had a little kitten carrier that I bought for him so he could feel more secure in it. And he was just like, that's cool, you know, like, where are we going? You know, and he didn't cry all the way home. He just sat there just like looking out the window from his carrier. He was just so cool, you know. He was just so cool. And when we got home that night, I remember it was 3 days before Halloween that I had him, or like 2 days before Halloween. And that night, there was all these warnings of like these, this was 2017. There was all these warnings of like this really major windstorm we were supposed to get up here, and that was gonna affect, could affect our power. And so I was kind of scared. I'm like, the poor thing's coming home with me, and you know, it's gonna be freezing in here. We're gonna have no power. And all of a sudden, you know, he just roamed the house, and he was cool, and he checked everything out, and he's always followed me. Like, no matter what, he follows me no matter what room I'm working in. He's got to be there. And those of you that know, he does this thing. I have to have at least 1 or 2 sessions a day. You guys see me that I sit up in bed, in my bed, and he has to go in between my legs and purr in between my legs, because that's how he bonds with me. He goes under the covers, and that's his thing. But that night that I took him home, I will never forget it. I was more scared than him. He jumped up on my bed. He climbed up on the bed, and he was at the bottom of my bed, and he looked over at me, and the wind was like howling, and it was crazy, and it was scary. And he's just staring at me like reading my energy, you know, this little baby thing, just looking at me, staring at me. And I'm trying to talk to him like, it's okay, buddy, we're gonna be okay. And I think at the time I didn't even know what I was calling him. It later on came to my mind to name him Miles. And I was like, it's okay, buddy. I'm so sorry. I know it's windy and scary. And he just looked at me, and no word of a lie, that cat got up, walked his way over to me, and he put his paw right on my hand. He put his paw right on my hand and sat down and stared at me. It was like he was gonna protect me now, you know? That's the kind of cat he is. So, I will, this weekend I was scared out of my mind. And the other thing I'll share is that we didn't know what was going to happen with something like that. You guys that are cat owners, no, I didn't lose him. Oh my God. Those of you that are coming in, you guys know I didn't lose the cat. I'm just sharing with you how scared I was that I almost could have if I wasn't paying attention. So again, those of you that have those of you that own cats, the male cats can have urinary crystals and stones. It can happen very quickly. And you do have to monitor your cat's litter box activity to make certain that you are on top of it, because if they block and they cannot urinate, we're talking hours. Yeah, Wendy, I'm talking about Miles. This is what happened to me over the weekend. So, fingers crossed, prayer said, he's on the mend. He's on the mend. He's looking, he's acting, everything is much better. But I'm crying because I was scared out of my mind that these cats are 5 years old, and I took one hit after another, three animals within the last 6 weeks that I had to be worried about. So, guys, for those of you that are the praying type, please continue to pray for the health of my animals and the attacks that I've been getting. They've been coming in, and I know what they are. So I didn't even get to the topic of this video, and I do have to go because I do have somebody in about 10 minutes that I have for a session. I want you guys to understand something. A lot of you will believe, okay, what the narcissist thinks and has to say about you, okay? And yes, guys, I'll keep you in the loop as to what's happening here with Miles. But fingers crossed, he seems to be on the mend, and he's peeing. And the medication made him constipated. He finally went to the bathroom today, and he's acting more of himself. And I have to put him on gabapentin right now because of the pain from his urethra. And so, fingers crossed. I'm sleeping on the couch so I can monitor what he's doing. And thank you for those of you that have had patience while I'm sleep deprived and a little out of my mind. Anyway, the narcissist is, because I was thinking about telling you guys all this, tonight, and I thought about my enemies who are watching this gloating. Hi. Hi guys, I know who you are. I know you watch. And I know what you think. You think that I deserve it. See, the narcissist is such an evil, rotten excuse for a human being that they gloat in your sorrows and in your troubles, and they sit back and they think to themselves, that's what you get. They do. That's what you get. They convince themselves that you are the evil one and they're the victim of your evilness. And a lot of you are buying what they're saying to you. You know, they are telling you this all along, that you're crazy and they'll use all these words, you know, to try and make you feel terrible about yourself. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to convince you that you're just like them and you're nothing like them. And so they gloat when you're crying. They celebrate your downfalls. It's like a holiday and celebration to them. And like I said, I work with a lot of people that will actually start to believe this stuff about themselves the longer they stay with people like this. This is their game, you guys. This is their tactic. This is how they're able to be narcissists. The minute they feel any type of shame for what they've actually done, which is the truth of what they do to people, they will, to not deal with that shame, they will automatically turn it around to you. You deserved it. You deserved how I treated you. And what did you do all along? You loved them. You cared about them. Maybe you expressed a boundary to them. And anybody that actually really loves you will respect your boundaries. They're not going to think that you're a cuckoo clock for having them or for calling them out on something that they did and said. A narcissist is like, how dare you? How dare you have boundaries? How dare you make me feel bad about myself? It's not about fixing it with you. It's about, I want to be able to do and say whatever it is I do and say. I don't want to have to listen to any more of this. You're the problem. They convince themselves of this. So for those of you going through narcissistic abuse and you're recognizing that you have a narcissist in your life and they're abusive and they are doing these tactics, please, please, please understand that yes, the devil wants to bring you down. And yes, narcissists are the devil's staff members. Please hear me out. That's what they are. They are the devil's staff. And they are sent by Satan himself to take you down, to make you depressed, to oppress you, to bring you to low vibrational levels. The only way to combat the devil is to stay positive no matter what is happening. And I had to turn my attitude around completely today because I was going down a dark place again in my head. And it's very easy to do because you're sitting there like, why is this happening to me? Like, how, you know, why? And then I said to myself, this is life. You got to fight. You got to fight, and you have got to understand that my mental capacity, my ability to stay positive and remain positive in very bad situations is what has gotten me where I am. So I got to keep that up. I have to understand how to handle this and understand that the Lord is my Savior, is my healer, is my guide. And I have to keep remembering that and going with that. And everything else is going to fall into place. So no matter what, you guys, no matter what's happening in your life, no matter what the narcissist is trying to make you believe about yourself or say about you or whatever, that's not the truth. You know the truth, and God knows the truth, and hold on tight to that, and everything else is going to fall into place. Well, that's my message. I have to go to take my next client. Please keep your prayers for Miles. And Daisy seems to be on the mend. She seems to be good. But please pray for the health of my animals, you guys, because this is just, this has been freakishly horrible, to say the least. But I'm staying positive, which is what I know I need to do. I love you guys very much. I'm going to be on tomorrow with a very, very special guest. So please, please tune in tomorrow. I'm so excited to have her on the channel, and I can't wait to introduce her to all of you. She's got a really strong and amazing message to share with all of you. So please make sure you're on tomorrow night. I'm Trace Face. It's time we all face the truth together.